Sarah Trombley, and I'm the Metro Director for Naptown Young Life. Young Life has been around in Indianapolis for a long, long time, and we started Young Life at Arsenal Tech High School in 2005. Josh Nottingham, a good friend of mine from college, had asked if we wanted to get Young Life going at Arsenal Tech, and I was a teacher there at the time, and so we formed a committee, started praying, started raising money, and I didn't know that the staff person we were going to hire would be myself years later.
So we have a lot of different connection points to Young Life, but I think probably at this point my favorite connection point to Young Life is locally. We've kind of made a commitment to figuring out how to have Mats support our local Indianapolis area where our headquarters is, and Sarah Trombley is the area director for Young Life in Naptown Young Life, or Indianapolis, and she's been a good friend of mine for almost 20 years. And we've been friends since college. She led at Indiana University, I led at Purdue University, and we were friends then. And after I moved to Indianapolis, we kind of rekindled that friendship. She and her husband JC were good friends of ours, and Sarah and I actually got to start Young Life together at an urban school where she was teaching at the time, called Arsenal Tech in Indianapolis. And I served on her committee for, I think, almost 10 years after we kind of planted that area. That area has gone on to do bigger and better things than I was ever involved in. Sarah has done a phenomenal job. You'll hear more from her.
Young Life is a relational ministry. We aim to build relationships with kids at the high school. We go where kids are. So we go to their sporting events, we go to their workplaces, we hang out with them and get to know them with the hopes of getting to share the gospel with them through those relationships. But we walk alongside kids really no matter what their response to the gospel is. And it's just a really awesome job. It's the best job I've ever had.
One of the, I think, enduring things that really kind of had an impact on me from Young Life is that growing up, I grew up in the church, but I never really understood relational incarnational ministry the way that Young Life does, and that was all new to me. And I remember telling people that my first ever Young Life leader meeting that I went to totally blew my mind. I had no idea that there was this type of super intentional relational ministry out there, and it really had a deep impact on me. And so when I started with Mats, I think that which by the way happened in 2006. When that happened, I think I initially, when I took over the organization, it was very small, and I really wanted to kind of bring that commitment to relationships to Mats and kind of figure out how to grow organically and relationally the way that Young Life did. And so one of the first things.
Campaigners every Monday night. So just tons of high school kids come and hang out and talk about real life, what matters to them. And we do a Bible study, we eat food, it's so fun. But we had so many girls coming, and we needed rides home. A lot of our kids need help with transportation. And I had a small car at the time, and so I called Josh and called Mats and said, can you help me find something bigger so I can take girls home? And so he did that, and I got my Honda Pilot from Mats back in the day, and I loved it. For a couple of years, as we've been growing and expanding ministry in the city, and then growing and expanding our staff team, we've realized that we kind of need like a central location or an office. I've always just been used to working kind of wherever, and didn't really even know how much an office would benefit and help us deepen ministry. But had talked to Josh and his brother Mark, who owns Platt Collective, and they let us use space out of one of their offices. And then as we kept growing and growing, we kind of outgrew one of the rooms that we've been using. And so last fall, Josh and Mark came to us and said, we have space, we would love to share the building with you. And we got to move in, I think in September, October. And it's just been the biggest blessing. I had no idea how much ministry was going to help us with collaboration a place for staff to be able to come, and we store all of our club supplies here so we can share with each other, our sound system, just everything. Our whole garage is now filled up with baby gear for our teen mamas and their babies. And it's just amazing. It's an amazing gift to our ministry.
So now, Mats and Young Life actually share office, and we just kind of schedule the conference room when we need it and get to interact with each other and see each other on a regular basis now that they're sharing the office space. So it's been a really great partnership for the last almost 15 years. We love working with Young Life staff mainly because we share a lot of common commitments, both to the gospel, but also to specifically incarnational relational high school ministry, and have some deep connections there. So we're really excited for what the future might hold of partnerships with Young Life and Mats.